I just realized something new. We humans are far more entangled with others than we ever imagine. From morning till night, unconsciously, we're constantly comparing ourselves to those around us. Checking who's more successful, who's more attractive, who gets noticed more, who earns more admiration. And all the while, we remain blind to how these comparisons subtly pull us away from ourselves. We become a copy, a version of what we think we should be, rather than who we truly are. We're always chasing external validation. We crave someone else to say, "Well done," so we can feel reassured we're on the right path. But the truth is, the more you chase outside approval, the emptier you feel inside. Because no one else can truly give you that deep sense of worth, only you can. Peace doesn't come from others' praise, from followers or likes. It begins the moment you start taking yourself seriously without needing anyone else's gaze or approval. Most of us believe happiness lies in things outside ourselves. Money, status, popularity, someone's love, or even collective respect. But the Stoics taught that real joy comes from within, from mastery over your inner world, from clearly seeing what's within your control and what isn't. Once you truly grasp that, a weight lifts one you might not have even realized you'd been carrying for years. You stop blaming yourself for things beyond your reach. Here's the simple truth. You can't change how others behave. You can't control their opinions. You can't even predict what tomorrow will bring. But there's one thing that's always yours, your response. You get to choose how you react, how you think, and how you move forward. The wind will always blow, but you decide how to set your sails. Life is full of uncontrollable circumstances, yet what truly makes the difference is your attitude toward them. When you shift your focus away from others and back to yourself, you suddenly realize just how much power you actually hold. Instead of asking, "Why are they better than me?" you start asking, "How can I grow?" Instead of waiting for the world to change, you begin changing yourself. And that's when everything slowly starts falling into place. The outside world is always noisy, full of judgment and other people's opinions. But once you learn to tune out that noise and listen to your inner voice, you discover a unique kind of peace, not a temporary calm, but a deep, steady confidence that comes from consciously choosing your own path. As the saying goes, when you find yourself, you'll never get lost again. And that's true growth. Understanding you're not meant to be perfect, only authentic. Just being a little better today than you were yesterday means you're on the right track. In the end, it all starts right here, with focusing on yourself. Once you learn this, the world gradually begins to align with you. And everything, just like puzzle pieces, starts fitting perfectly into place. We humans have a strange habit. We're always trying to fix the world. We want people to be kinder, circumstances to improve, luck to finally be on our side. And basically, for everything outside of us to change so we can finally feel at peace. But the truth is, the world never unfolds exactly the way we want it to. People don't behave the way we expect. Life isn't always fair. And sometimes things go completely against what we hoped for. That's where Stoic philosophy shines like a light in the darkness. They said, you can't control the world, but you can control yourself. When you learn to bring order to your inner world, when you understand and master your thoughts and emotions, you can stay calm even in the middle of a storm. Like a sailor who can't calm the sea but can always adjust his sails. The reality is this: as long as your inner world is chaotic, no matter how perfect the outside appears, you won't find peace. You can achieve success, wealth, love, and fame. But if your mind is crowded with fear, worry, and comparison, none of it will truly satisfy you. Because that inner noise swallows everything whole. When you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you hand your happiness over to people who might not even remember your name. But when you tidy up your mind, something magical happens. You become calm. Your judgments fade. You stop trying to control every event because you finally understand. Not everything is meant to be in your hands. You learn to make peace with yourself instead of fighting the world. And right at that moment, the world starts treating you more gently. Because an orderly inner world naturally creates a more harmonious outer one. The Stoics had a golden truth. You're responsible for your thoughts, not for the world. If the world is chaotic, but your mind is at peace, you've already won. Because no person and no circumstance can take that inner calm away from you. But if everything around you is perfect while your mind is full of fear, doubt, and anxiety, then no amount of success will ever make you truly happy. Real peace comes when you learn to start from within. Not by changing the world, but by changing how you see it. Instead of waiting for the world to quiet down, you become quiet. Because when your inner world is still, the world lowers its voice. The real question is this: how can you reach a peace so deep that nothing can shatter it? The answer is simple, but putting it into practice is hard. You must learn to clearly distinguish between what's within your control and what isn't. Look, most of us pour our energy into things we can't control, not even by 1%. We want everyone to like us. We want the world to be fair. We want everything to go exactly as planned. But the truth is, the world never turns the way we wish it would. The weather, other people's behavior, luck, even the future, none of it is in our hands. But there's one thing that always is: your response. You can't stop the storm, but you can choose whether to curse the rain or enjoy its rhythm. You can't silence what people say, but you can decide whether their words affect your inner state. It all starts here the moment you realize you don't control the outside world, but you do control your inner world. Life has its highs and lows, sweet days and bitter ones. But a mature person stands steady through both. When times are good, they're grateful. When times are hard, they're patient. Because they understand, nothing lasts. Joy doesn't stay forever, and neither does sorrow. Everything passes. The only thing that endures is you and your perspective toward life. The Stoics had a beautiful saying: if your inner world is solid, nothing outside can shake you. When you truly know yourself, understand your values, and have cultivated inner calm, no person, no event, and no external crisis can knock you off your path. The outside world is always noisy, full of judgments, comparisons, anxieties, and insecurities. But right in the middle of all that chaos, you can create your own silence. A space where the world's noise can't reach you, where fear and worry lose their power. That's the peace you've been searching for. Not outside, not in other people, but within you. True peace arrives when you finally understand. You don't need to control everything. You just need to know yourself, choose your response wisely, and trust the flow of life. Then, even when the world goes completely against your wishes, you'll remain calm. Because you've realized you're not here to fix everything. You're here to stay true to yourself. Most people spend their entire lives chasing peace, but they take the wrong path. We all tend to believe, in one way or another, that peace lies outside. In money, in relationships, in success, or in other people's approval. But the truth is, none of those things are lasting. Peace isn't an external condition, it's an inner state. When you learn to calm your inner world, no matter how chaotic or difficult life gets outside, you still hold on to your peace. Most of the time, instead of looking at the root of our emotions, we go searching for someone to blame. We ask, why did they act like that? Why did they say that? Why did they do this to me? But that's not the right question. The real question is, why did I get hurt by their words or actions? When you shift your focus this way, you step out of the victim mindset and take back control not over the world, but over your inner world. You start to observe your emotions instead of being trapped by them. That's the moment you move from unconscious reaction to conscious choice. The human mind is like a mirror. If it's foggy or covered in dust, no matter how beautiful the outside world is, you won't see it clearly. You have to first clean the mirror within. Only then can you see the world as it truly is. When your mind becomes clear, your perspective on life changes. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. Another common mistake people make is comparison. From the moment we open our eyes, the world bombards us with competition. Better grades, bigger houses, higher status jobs, more followers. But here's the hard yet liberating truth. Life has no finish line. You're not meant to win. You're meant to grow. There are countless people who seem to have it all on the outside. Yet inside, they feel completely empty. Why? Because they've been living by other people's standards, not their own. They kept comparing themselves to others until they forgot who they really are. But there's no reason your path should look like anyone else's. Everyone has their own rhythm, their own timing, their own journey. An apple tree never compares itself to an orange tree. It knows its fruit is meant to be different. It simply focuses on growing its roots deep and bearing its own kind of fruit. We humans need to learn the same lesson. Growth means being yourself, not a copy of someone else. Comparison only steals your inner peace and leads you astray from your true path. True peace arrives when you realize the only person you need to be better than is the you of yesterday. When you shift your focus from the outside world to your inner growth, everything slowly starts falling into place. Because, in the end, the world is just a mirror. When your inside is calm, the outside begins to reflect beauty. When you shift your focus from the outside world and turn it inward, something amazing happens. The world gradually becomes calmer and more manageable. You no longer feel the need to constantly chase after changing other people, trying to convince them, fix them, or reshape their habits. Because you finally understand that the only place you can truly create change is within yourself. Everything that once made you anxious or upset begins to settle into order. Not because the world changed, but because you've learned to manage your own reactions. When you focus on yourself, the fear of others' judgment starts to fade. You stop seeking validation or worrying about what people think of you. You learn that your sense of worth and inner goodness must come from within, not from other people's eyes or opinions. And that's how you develop true self-confidence. Not the kind that depends on praise, attention, or external achievements. But there's a danger lurking here. The ego, that quiet, subtle voice that slips in unnoticed. It whispers things like, "I'm better, I understand more, I don't need to listen to anyone." This voice of the ego acts like a hidden enemy, quietly blocking your real growth and learning. The moment you feel like you have nothing left to learn, that's exactly when your downfall begins. Ego makes you believe you already know everything. So you stop being curious, stop learning from others' experiences, and your path becomes narrow and closed. So what's the antidote? Humility. Humility means accepting that, no matter how smart or experienced you are, there's always more to learn. It means staying open, listening, asking questions, and being willing to learn from anyone who offers you a new perspective. The world is full of teachers. Some offer sweet, gentle lessons. Others bring hard, bitter ones. but each one holds an insight that can open your eyes and expand your mind, if you're willing to listen. Humility means showing up every day, ready to refine yourself and keep learning, not assuming you already have all the answers. When you stay humble, your path of growth never closes. New opportunities appear, and even in the toughest circumstances, you can hold on to your inner calm and genuine self-confidence. So, turn your focus inward. Set your ego aside. Stay open to learning, and see the world with all its lessons and challenges as your teacher. That's how your mind and heart find peace, and how your life begins to truly flow. Because when you're aligned within, everything slowly falls into place. There's a crucial point we often forget: emotions. We humans like to believe our choices are rational and well considered. But the truth is, most of them stem from emotions: fear, anger, excitement, or even passion. And these feelings can be so powerful that they distort our judgment, derail our decision-making, and leave us regretting our actions later. The Stoics had a fascinating perspective on this. Emotions aren't inherently bad. The problem arises when we let them take the wheel. When something stirs inside us and we react immediately without pausing to think, that's when trouble begins. They taught, observe your emotions. Understand them, but let reason make the final call. Think of emotions like fire. Used wisely, they can warm you, energize you, and inspire you. But left uncontrolled, that same fire can burn you, destroy your path, and leave you with lasting regret. This means the first step toward a calm, balanced life is self-awareness. Only when you understand what triggers you when your emotions are driving you versus when your reason is guiding you, can you truly take control of your life. And all of this leads to a deeper truth: humility and self-understanding. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." As long as you're playing roles, wearing the masks, adopting the behaviors, or seeking the approval others expect, you haven't yet found yourself. True growth begins the moment you become honest with yourself. When you face your weaknesses and mistakes without hiding or pretending to be someone else. When that happens, you no longer need external validation or other people's opinions to feel good about yourself. Joy and peace begin from within, not from how others react to you. So, when you truly know yourself and focus inward, even if the world around you seems chaotic and full of challenges, you can remain steady. You can make wise decisions without being hijacked by your emotions. You can keep learning, growing, and becoming a better version of yourself day after day. Yes, this path isn't short, but the reward is priceless. True peace, deep self-confidence, and a life built on self-awareness and humility, not on imitation or the expectations of others. And that is exactly what all of us are searching for deep down, even if we haven't fully realized it yet. Learn to spend a little time alone with yourself. Learn to sit with silence and not be afraid of it. Because it's in those quiet moments that you finally see yourself clearly. You realize what you've truly been searching for, what you've been running from, what really matters to you, and what's just been distracting you all along. When you become your own friend, the world stops feeling so harsh and scary. You no longer need to constantly seek others' approval or exhaust yourself trying to keep everyone happy. Because you finally understand yourself and you accept yourself. And right then, you start to feel like everything has quietly settled into place. Without force, without manipulation, without trying to control anything. When you pause and look inward, you'll notice how much simpler life becomes. Decisions feel lighter. Your mind clears of unnecessary worries. You understand that real peace doesn't come from the outside. Not from money, not from popularity, not from praise. True peace arrives when your inner world is in order, when you genuinely care for yourself and live with honesty. There's a beautiful saying: when your inside is in order, the outside naturally calms down. And it's absolutely true. When you focus on your own growth, learning, and becoming a better version of yourself, everything else unfolds gently and naturally. Not through force, not by trying to control the world, but through inner calm, authentic presence, and trust in your own path. And when you truly understand yourself, your relationships with others improve too. With inner peace, you stop fearing judgment. Jealousy and anxiety fade. Your connections become healthier, more honest, and more meaningful. You start noticing life is full of small and big opportunities. And when you're grounded in inner stillness, you see them clearly and embrace them with ease. So take a deep breath. Spend a moment alone with yourself. Embrace the silence. Let your mind settle. Every time you choose honesty with yourself, the world subtly, gently, and naturally begins to fall into place. Focus on yourself, on your growth, your learning, your becoming. And everything else? It will find its way.